Well, we have come in early and we have a couple of minutes before we actually start our talk at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got about 3 minutes. And instead of just having our screen blank for 3 minutes with a standby, I thought I would just start talking a little bit and talk about who I am. And what we'll do is we will show my face. Let's see, and talk and chat a little bit. I know we're early, and this is just fill in until we get the to the 9 o'clock hour when we will start our presentation. I hope that everyone is doing well today and that your day is good. Let's see. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment just so that I can talk to the screen and show my screen and say hi. And before we get into our presentation, and again, as I said earlier, I hope everyone is doing well today. And I hope that everyone is enjoying this training that we're doing live on Facebook, talking about active listening skills. And I have to say, it's really amazing as I study this topic and share with you. It's just amazing how detailed and how broad this topic can be, actually. It works for us on the job, and it also works for our personal life. And it's just amazing as I go through this. Sometimes we think we understand what active listening is. Sometimes when I talk to my different family members, they say, "Oh, I know what that is. That's just listening. You're just listening to people." But it goes beyond that. It goes so much deeper. And I think that once we get a really good understanding about how active listening skills work for us, we will be better at communication. This is a communication skill. And when we learn how to communicate well, people feel like they are being heard. And you have better conversations with people. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for us to share our screen once again, our PowerPoint, because our PowerPoint is just a point of reference for you. And today we're going to be talking about active listening skills for the court reporting profession and talking about managing emotions and well-being. Working as a federal, as a, not federal, working as a court reporter in a federal court or state court, depositions in the conference room, we need to learn how to manage our emotions and also to take care of our well-being. When we manage our emotions, then we are able to use our active listening skills at a high level. And today, we have 4 aspects of active listening skills that we're going to look at. Okay. We're going to look at listening for underlying emotions, recognizing feelings behind words. Number 2, observing nonverbal signals, paying attention to body language and tone. Number 3, silencing external distractions, focusing on the speaker, not on your cell phone or social media. Number 4, practicing mindfulness, which is being present in the moment during the conversation, or as a court reporter during the act of taking down of testimony. Okay, so we have four areas that we want to look at today. Now, what I'm going to do as I'm training you, as I'm talking about this topic, I'm going to talk about that area, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I'm going to talk about how it applies generally in our lives, and then I'll follow up with how it is applied as a court reporter professional or a court reporter, okay? So when I talk about the court reporting professional, this would apply to anyone working in the court reporting field, or even in the legal sense, a legal practitioner could apply to lawyers. It could apply to judges. It could apply really to anyone in that environment, in that legal environment. Judges and lawyers, of course, they don't consider themselves part of the court reporting profession. Court reporting profession is part of the legal system. And we should try to expand our understanding of this active listening skill. As a point of reference, it can be applied to every sphere of life where there is the spoken word, okay? So where there is the spoken word, there is the skill of active listening that can be used. I like to say this. I like to say from time to time, we all listen, but do we listen well? Do we listen effectively? That's the question. So today we're going to talk about these different areas. So let's start with number one. In active listening skills, listening for underlying emotions, recognizing feelings behind words is important in general conversation because it will dictate how we respond to people. This will give us the opportunity to share the joys of life or be there for the individual, showing empathy, support, love, patience, compassion, and care for an individual. So there are times when it's really important when we're talking with people one-on-one, or if we're in a group, or even if we're part of a group that is observing something. It is important that we understand and listen and pay attention to the emotions that are being displayed. What is underlying in those emotions? When we can recognize these emotions, it affects how we perceive what is being said. It affects what we perceive is being shown to us. Okay, so it's important, even in generally speaking, it's important for us to have some kind of understanding of the underlying emotions that are under what's being spoken. Okay. Now, when it comes to working as a court reporter or the court reporting profession, it is not our job to really tap into emotions. That's not really essential in our job because our job is to capture the spoken word and produce a verbatim record. Okay. So when it comes to the spoken word, listening for underlying emotions and recognizing feelings behind words is not our essential focus. Okay. We listen for the words, but not for underlying emotions. We are listening to capture every single word humanly possible that we can capture so that we can produce this verbatim record, okay? Now, sometimes in the courtroom proceedings or any legal proceeding where a record is being taken down by a stenographer or any other type of reporter, what we can do is when a witness is emotional and the witness, let's say the witness starts crying, we could put a notation in the record in parentheses, witness crying, okay? And we can be very specific about how that person is crying. We can put down tears flowing onto cheeks. We can put in parentheses, witness crying out loud. Okay, so it's up to the reporter how specific they want to describe what's going on, but we want to portray in the record the emotions, but it has to be something that the witness is actually doing that can be captured and described into the record. So it's not that we're looking at the underlying emotions, okay? When we put in these parentheticals and describe what's going on, it gives context to in the record. Okay, gives some little context. That's how we can share the underlying emotion by what we see and what we can describe in a short parenthetical. All right. Let's see. When we are producing the verbatim record, again, our focus is on capturing the word. That's our number one priority as a court reporter, as a court reporting professional. That is our number one priority is capturing the spoken word. But we also need to be aware of emotional components that should also be added to the transcript in a parenthetical. Okay, so that's how we would look at that particular active listening skill, okay, when it comes to emotions. We all do it all the time. We observe people, how they're feeling, and we respond according to what we can feel and see of the emotional effect of a person. Okay. All right. I think I talked about that one pretty good. And if you have any questions or want to share your experience with that, you can put that in the comment line. Okay, let's see if there are anyone online that may be asking questions. All right, so far, no questions. Okay, so let's keep going. Number two, excuse me, observing nonverbal signals, paying attention to body language and tone. Now, it seems that this underlying emotions and these nonverbal signals seem to be kind of about the same, right? But generally speaking, observing nonverbal signals, paying attention to body language and tone is very important. This helps the observer to have a better understanding of what the speaker is trying to convey and gives context and sets a framework that will affect the observer or the participant of the conversation. Just like emotion, the underlying emotion can affect it, so can nonverbal signals, okay? Uh, So what are these nonverbal signals? Have you ever noticed when you're having a conversation with someone, some people they speak with their hands. So as they're talking, they're moving their hands all about, signaling. That's another way to give emotional signaling, but they're using their hands and they're moving their hands all around to give emphasis of what they're saying sometimes. Uh, Sometimes when people repeat something, they take their hands and they do like one of these numbers. Some people are very animated when they're talking, and that can get you to understand if they're excited, they're happy, they're sad by these nonverbal clues. And so those are important. Now, when the court reporter observes these nonverbal signals, because there are some gestures, okay, they have to become part of the verbatim record. And these are put in parentheticals, just like the emotions where we put in where the witness is crying. When people are making gestures, pointing to their arm, if they've been injured and they're pointing to their arm and they're showing the jury or they're showing an attorney in a conference room, the reporter has to put in parentheticals, witness pointing to arm or left arm, right arm. They put in some type of notation to show that the witness is pointing. Okay. Sometimes when a witness is asked a question and they're answering in affirmative, they go like this. They're nodding their head. We will put a parenthetical in the record, witness nodding head up and down. Sometimes witnesses answer in the negative and they're going like this. So we put in the record, witness shaking head from left to right. Okay. That gives context to the record. And it's important here that the attorney, if he wants a verbal response, it is his responsibility to tell the witness, ask the witness, is that a yes or is that a no when they do these nonverbal answering? Because again, we're trying to get the spoken word, not gestures. Okay. Uh, When someone is pointing to a part of their body to indicate injuries caused in a civil or a criminal case, that's part of the evidence. And that is being presented. So that is the reason why it is important that the court reporter make that notation in the record in parentheticals of what the witness is doing, because that is part of the evidence. Okay. Sometimes a witness will step down in a courtroom setting, for example. A witness will step down and stand before the jury, which happened actually in the last trial that I worked on. The witness stepped down from the witness stand and stood in front of the jury because he had a permanent injury on his leg because of a accident that happened. And he pulled up his pant leg and showed his injuries to the jury. So in the record, I put in a parenthetical, that the witness stepped down and that he pointed to his leg, because all that is part of evidence. Okay. Now, number three, silencing external distractions, focusing on the speaker, not your cell phone or social media. I'm really bad with this one. And one time that I recall, I was called on this. I'll just share a quick personal experience. I was in the conference room as a court reporter, taking down testimony, and there was a break, like there was like a little lull. The attorney was looking at a document, and there was like a pause. And so during that pause, here I am concerned about my cell phone, and not just turned my cell phone over to see if I had got a message. But the attorney didn't appreciate me doing that. And I don't recall if he actually said something to me or not. I think he might have said something. I think he did say something to me about looking at my cell phone. And do you know that this attorney actually called the agency and complained about me? I mean, come on, people. We are adults. Anyway, from that little experience, it's very important, right, that we do silence our external distractions. Um, I find myself these days silencing my cell phone and putting it away completely when I'm at and while I'm at work. Because really, you really don't need that distraction. Because if you have the cell phone on the table next to you, I know I will pick up that cell phone and look to see, did I get a did I get a message? So it's important that when we're there to work, really, we should put away our cell phones. Just put them away, put them on silent, put them away. And then during the break, look at your cell phone and see what's happening and respond. Walk away from the conference room and bring your phone with you and check your messages then. Because it can become a distraction, right? You can get a message that could affect your emotions. And when we get emotional, it can affect the way that we hear what we're hearing. As people speak, it can affect our ability to hear properly, and it also can affect how we write on the steno machine. Okay, so let me see my slide. I think I haven't changed my slide. So we talked about listening for underlying emotions, recognizing feelings behind words. That's number one. Number two, observing nonverbal signals, paying attention to body language and tone. And let me go back. It looks like I missed one. All right, so before we get to mindfulness, we need to get to this talking about silencing our external distractions and focusing on the speaker and not your phone, the cell phone, or watching social media. We are in these conference rooms. This wouldn't happen necessarily. Well, it could happen in the courtroom. When we're having our break, we have our equipment, we have our cell phone, we have access to the internet. We could pull up our social media and be watching different things, watching YouTube, watching this and that. When the proceedings are going forward, okay, while the proceedings is in session, We do not want to be looking at our cell phones, even if there's a little lull, even if some people are looking at documents. Our focus should be on capturing the spoken word. Reporters, we have our computers in front of us. We could start to look at words and maybe correct something on the transcript, especially if we know that transcript is being ordered. We could use our time wisely, those moments when there's a lull. And that segues really into our next session. Hold on a moment. Let me just backtrack to this. Number three, when we are in conversation with someone, this is the time to get rid of any distractions so that we can give our undivided attention to an individual. Now, this is talking about generally speaking, right? Let me just stop sharing for a moment because this is the section where I don't have it on the slide. So let me just talk to you for a moment about number three, which is silencing external distractions. Focusing on the speaker, not on their cell phone and social media. When you're talking to someone one-on-one, you want to give that person your undivided attention. You don't want to have your cell phone next to you, looking at it, seeing if you have email messages and someone's trying to have a conversation with you, right? If we don't do this, we will when it comes to talking to individuals, we can misinterpret what is being said, even in everyday, just ordinary talking, conversation, right? We can misinterpret what's being said to us, and it's not, and it doesn't give people a good feeling, right? When you're talking with them and you're looking at your cell phone or you're looking at television or you're looking at social media and the person is trying to have a conversation with you. Um, that's when we need to turn things off and see what's going on. Like, why is this person wanting to talk to me, especially if you're at home and a family member comes in the room and you're watching social media or watching YouTube or a movie or this or that. I know sometimes we can be impatient with family members, but let's pause. We got the pause button, guys. We can put the stuff on pause and see what is it that they want in that moment. And of course, if they want to have conversation, you're trying to watch television or social media or anything like that, we can always be polite, right? And say, "Let me talk to you after my show is over." And if it's YouTube, come on, guys, let's pause that. Let's pause that and talk to our family member. Um, People want to be heard, right? People want to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged. So let's not put so much emphasis and importance on technology, especially when we are talking with our family members. If we do not, in any setting, and when we do not give people our undivided attention, it comes off that we don't care about them. And we do not want people to feel that way. I heard a social worker. I was talking with a social worker one day, and we were talking about communication skills, actually. And he said, whenever you have a conversation with someone, you should always let them come away with a good feeling. And that kind of like, I never thought of it that way. Let that person be smiling when they leave your presence. And how would you know a person was smiling if you weren't giving them your undivided attention? Right? So we want to give people our undivided attention because we want them to know that we care about them. We want them to know we're listening, that we hear them, right? And that we understand. And that means we have to use our active listening skills, guys. We're going to have to do some paraphrasing. We're going to have to clarify and do all that. How can you do that if you're watching television or social media, YouTube? Just saying. Now, for a court reporter, silencing external distractions is a must. And so putting that phone away, when I put my phone on silence and putting it away where I can't see it, that is the best thing I can do for myself. And that's what I do most of the time. I do confess, sometimes it's sitting on the table, but it's silent. So, it doesn't buzz, it doesn't vibrate, none of that. But even just having the phone visible can be a distraction. Think about it. So my goal these days really is to put it on silent and put the phone away. Put it away. Uh, this will allow, right, the speaker, this will allow us to be able to focus on the speaker and not on our cell phone and on our social media. It will cut that all out. And this will allow us to manage distractions. This is part of distraction, of managing distractions, okay? As the court reporter, the focus needs to be on the job at hand, not your cell phone, not social media, not our YouTube channel. All that can wait till later. We need to stay focused on the job at hand. That's capturing the spoken word. That should be our focus. And that should be what we need to just focus on, that capturing the spoken word. That's what we're there for, so that we can produce a what? A verbatim record. I have to share this. You know, when I'm distracted and I'm writing real time, when I go back to edit, I see mistakes. Okay. I see things I didn't hear because I was distracted. And so that cell phone needs to be put away 100%. And that's my goal. Okay. Of course, we want to maintain professionalism at all times. The minute we see our cell phone on the table, it's a distraction. And even the attorneys are like watching us and looking at us like, what she got a cell phone on the table for? Why is it there? Think about it. Should it be out? That can make us look unprofessional. And we want to look professional at all times. If we don't manage the distractions that can happen, then we can miss what is being said. We can mishear. We can misinterpret what is being said or what the witness did. Remember what we were talking about earlier, putting in those parentheticals when the witness gestures or cries or whatever. If we're not paying attention, we're going to miss these little things that are happening that need to be part of the record. Okay? Did they cry? What was going on? Did they gesture? Did they point? The minute we take our eyes off the witness, we are going to miss something. All right. Number 4. Now I can share my screen. Let me share my screen. Number 4. Let's get to number 4. This is the last one. Like I said, that's number 2. And now we're going to number 4. Practicing mindfulness, being present in the moment during conversation. Practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is very important. It's being present, okay? When we practice mindfulness, it will help us to be able to hear better, okay? It will help us to manage stress and anxiety, okay? Being present in the moment during the conversation is a skill that we need to practice daily. Mindfulness can improve active listening skills. Mindfulness can help with overall health. In order to have good active listening skills, court reporters need to have good health, mental and emotional. Okay. Listening for long hours, I can attest. I can attest to it. Writing for long hours, it will wear us out. It would exhaust us. Okay. But if we use mindfulness, it would help us to get through. Okay. Listening for long hours is taxing on the mind and can cause stress, which can impact how we hear as we are capturing the spoken word. So when we practice mindfulness, what is that? It's being still. It's giving your time to rest, giving yourself time to pray, giving yourself time to meditate, giving yourself time to maybe do breathing exercises. Okay, all these type of things, and I'm sure there are other things. You can do your research and find out mindfulness. Do a little practice, go and do some research. What are some exercises that you can do mindfulness that can help you learn to stay present and in the moment, right? Being quiet, just being still. Okay, there's a scripture, I believe it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still. It's a good practice, right? Now, guess what we can do on the job? You know how we have those breaks? Now, these days, a break can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes uh, the aim is to have a 10-minute break. So in that 10-minute break, we can use some of these mindfulness exercises. Okay, we can do some breathing exercises. Also, we can do some stretching. What I've done in doing breaks is I've gone into the ladies' room, and I usually get into that big stall where usually it's for the handicap, but I have some issues with my knees, so I need to use that stall anyway. And I'll do some stretches in there. I'll do some stretches to help me get my mind and the stretching is good. Stretching, get all the little kinks out, the stress that might be in your muscles, all that's good. Okay. And this will help to strengthen our resilience, our ability to listen, continue to listen after we take these breaks. Okay. Sometimes I've gotten myself into it. I'll go sit down in a chair because in all these offices, lower offices, they have little areas, a sitting area. I'll sit down and I'll just close my eyes and just be still, just be quiet and breathe. And that relaxes me. Okay, that helps me so that I can get through to the next break. All right, so by ensuring well-being, this will help to maintain emotions and attentiveness, ultimately improving active listening skills and capacity. And this capacity that we're talking about there, as far as the reporter is concerned, is the capacity, the ability to capture the spoken word, okay, and with accuracy and with ease. So these four things are very good for us when it comes to active listening skills. All right. So let's summarize a couple of points. In summary, listening for underlying emotions or recognizing feelings behind words is not the major focus of the court reporter. The court reporter can make notations, like we said earlier, make those parentheticals, put in those actions, the gestures, the tears falling down on streaming down the face. When the witness stands and demonstrates, we can put little notations in the record. And this gives a complete capture of what has happened, right? It gives a complete capture of the spoken word and also gives context, okay? Managing distractions is a key part of being an effective court reporter. The courtroom can be what? Full of distractions. Now, we didn't talk about this, but in summary, let's talk about it. You could be in the courtroom and it could be full of distractions, full of distractions. There's background noise, there's people coughing, people shuffling papers, people walking in and out of the courtroom. And some courtrooms, they got the windows are up and you can hear outside noise. All these things are distractions, right? Uh, These distractions can cause the court reporter to lose the details, the nonverbal language, the words. This distraction can affect the ability to capture the spoken word and create a verbatim record. In order to stay focused, the court reporter has to use various strategies to maintain their focus and apply their active listening skills. Now, this is number 6. So you got to go back and review the other videos I've taught on all these various aspects of active listening, right? Active listening skills. Be an active listener. That's what we want to be. Okay. Another thing that I have experienced, to share my point of view, is that sometimes I can get lost in my thoughts. And I'm thinking about my to-do list and I'm writing steno at the same time, guys. Yeah, really. I go on to what's called autopilot. But it's how can I say this? Um, we're getting the word, at least we think we are. But we really need to come back in from the daydreaming, thinking about our today list, what happened yesterday, that argument we had with our husbands, our friends, our children. all these things, thinking of the past, thinking of the future. We need to learn and practice not to do that, but to stay focused and give our undivided attention to what we are doing in the courtroom, and that is capturing the spoken word. Even when it's easy, right? Even when it's easy, even when the case is boring and we know we're getting every single word, we are to stay present, and give your undivided attention to capturing the spoken word. This is something that all reporters, when court reporters, when they start off, it's something that through time that we learn to give our undivided attention. This is a skill that has to be practiced, and you have to remind yourself over and over and over again to stay present. Okay, this is something that will be learned through time. All right. Let me go back right here. A useful strategy is to practice giving full attention to the job at hand. Full attention means being completely present and aware of what is happening, okay? Without getting lost in our thoughts. And that's why mindfulness is such a good thing. Prayer, reflection, taking time at the end of the day and maybe having a journal to write down some things that happened during the day, things that you did very well, things that maybe you can work on, right? And maybe talk about the struggles of the day in this journal. It would be very helpful and help you through time, right? This will help you be reminding yourself of, you can actually put in that journal, how did I do with my active listening skills today? Was I present? Was I focusing? Did I give my undivided attention? And if I did not, why? What happened? Right? And this will help you learn through time what things are a distraction for you and learn how to overcome. Sometimes, like I said before, I do get lost in my thoughts sometimes, and I do start to think about the past, the future, my to-do list, and things like that. And I have gotten distracted. And what I have learned to do is to shift my focus. When my thoughts try to get to the past or the future of that today to-do list, I become conscious of my thoughts and this process that was happening in the moment. I become conscious of it because sometimes we can be kind of unconscious about what's happening, especially when we go into what's called that automatic, auto, when we become, what's the word? Is it automatic? Not automatic. On like people sometimes they get in a zone, they zone out. That's not good. We need to learn to stay present, and focus. And so when we see it, catch ourselves, right? When we become conscious and aware that we are doing this, then we need to breathe, get into breathing, quiet your mind down, and focus on the words. Quiet your mind. And this will help improve your concentration through time. Okay. It starts with awareness. Once we become aware, then it's time to use those mindfulness exercises and focus. Now, this is another thing that I've learned with my own practice of being a court reporter. I find that when I have proper rest, good food, okay, when I exercise, my ability to write as a stenographer improves. My job gets easier. And I didn't realize how overworked I was until I didn't have work for like, what happened was I didn't have to go, I didn't have to go travel to destinations, right? I'm in home and I'm editing on my transcripts. And I noticed when I went back to work to go to a job, my mind felt clear. I felt calm. My writing improved. I was like, I paid attention to that. I was like, wow, what happened? What was different? It was the fact that I hadn't been using my steno machine for 2 weeks. My hands were rested my mind was rested, and it improved my writing skills. So when people say take your rest, get rest, if someone is noticing that you're stressed out and they're saying, you know what, you need to go rest, take note of it. It could be true because sometimes we don't realize how we are overworking ourselves. So we have to pay attention to pay attention, okay? Pay attention. And when we, like I said before, when we get this proper rest, good food, and exercise, okay, our ability to use active listening skills improves, okay? Better real-time skills, less errors, okay? So when I'm exhausted and I realize that I'm exhausted, it's time to say no to the next job. And I need to just, stay home, work on transcript, or just relax. And it's okay because it's going to work for me. It's going to help me in the end, right? It's going to help me get through the next job that much easier. And like I said before, these are things that we learn through time. We learn these things. It doesn't happen overnight. Um, Even now I have to pay attention to myself because I love to work. You know how people say she's a workaholic. I think sometimes I do fit that mold. I work, 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 work. But I'm learning that I need to rest, take a break, and get back at it at another time. Another thing I'm learning too is when it comes to my schedule, I'm learning to be more strategic in how many jobs I put on my calendar. Okay. I'm starting to say, well, maybe going out to the courthouse or going to work on a deposition, maybe three is my limit. Three is my limit. I'm not going to do more than three in a week. And that way I can keep up with my backlog and stay pretty much current with some help, of course. All right. Let me just check my notes. So it's just important. We all know this, but sometimes we have to be reminded. It's important for us to take care of ourselves, take time for ourselves. All work and no play. It's not good. Take out time, get a hobby, something that where you can relax. Go to a yoga class, go swimming. Swimming is my go-to. I love swimming. And swimming has improved my body's strength and flexibility. It relaxes me. And I can tell when, like this week, today is what, Wednesday? I believe today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. And I haven't swum yet. So tomorrow it's like, you got to get in that water, girl. Get in that water, go swimming. Because having regular exercise routine is going to help your body. It's going to help your mind. It's going to help you to have resilience. It's going to strengthen you. It's going to relax you. Healthy eating, adequate rest, essential. It's essential. This will improve our overall well-being. All these things, regular exercise, healthy eating, adequate rest, are essential for improving our overall well-being as court reporting professionals. It's just, no way getting around it. Okay. Another important practice of self-care is to seek support from our colleagues. And this is the last thing we're going to talk about. When we're stressed out, sometimes our family doesn't understand what we're going through. My son, as a matter of fact, thinks that I have a easy job and that it's not that hard. And people don't realize how stressful our jobs are. And so we need to reach out to our colleagues, people who are reporters, who are in the court reporting profession, and who can relate to us. Talking with another court reporting professional about work challenges can be very useful. It provides the opportunity to share feelings and experiences, which can reduce stress. This helps reduce stress. Building a solid support network can help court reporting professionals feel less isolated and more connected to others who understand. their work. Okay. When court reporting professionals take care of their mental and emotional health, they become more aware of their own feelings and can recognize the emotions and nonverbal signals of others. This greater sensitivity can lead to a more precise, verbatim record. When a court reporter is in tune when a court professional is in tune with emotions in the courtroom, they can capture nuances of each case, adding depth and accuracy to their work. And that's talking about that we talked about earlier, the nonverbal signals and the um, paying attention to the body language. Okay. That's what that's talking about right there. All right. Um, I want to share one thing about this. I do notice that when there are some cases that kind of relate to things that I'm struggling with, maybe emotions about fear or anxiety or something where I can relate on a personal level to what's going on in the case, sometimes it will affect the way I can hear. And so once you can notice that, when you notice that, because it's a pattern, right? It's like certain cases may affect you in a negative way. So you have to make a decision. Should I not take that case? You might have to do that. You might have to, just not take certain types of cases because they may affect you and your ability to actually be able to hear, which is going to affect your ability. It's not going to cause you not to have a verbatim record because we all use audio for backup. Right. I mean, I haven't mentioned that, but we do have audio backup, right? So we are going to be able to produce that verbatim record, but it's going to affect your ability to get the transcript out timely if if it's a case that really causes a lot of distress emotionally. And so cases like that, if you can notice like which topics can affect you, you might want to say, like for example, some people just will not do criminal court because it's very emotional and abusive type domestic violence and things like that. Some people just are not able to hear those type of cases, but they can do civil and it doesn't bother them. So you really have to know yourself and know what will affect your emotions. Okay, so in summary, in regard to wellness, management of distractions and the practice of self-care are essential for court reporters and court reporting professionals to maintain high levels of active listening. There are techniques that can be used to help with self-care practices to prevent exhaustion and promote emotional health and sensitivity. Together, these strategies support both the well-being of the court reporting professionals and the quality of justice delivered in the courtroom. So, when we're having trials and we're there to produce that verbatim record, but we're also there to help justice be served. And that verbatim transcript is very important. Okay. So let me see if there are any body that we're here live. So let's see if there are any chats going on. So we're relatively new at this. Okay. And I don't see any chats. So as we go, this says here, 2 people are watching right now. So that's nice to know. We got 2 people watching. I'm going to go to my phone and I'm going to silence it and see if I can see any chat on this. Let's see. So I hope that the presentation was helpful today to think about some different aspects of active listening skills. It's very important that we have good active listening skills. All right, so I got my phone here and I'm just trying to see if there's any chat. So far, I don't see anything. Okay. All right. So through time, as people get to know me and get to know this topic, I'm sure there are going to be some comments and some questions. And I will answer any questions that anyone may have. Uh, just put it in the chat comment section, and I will answer it. And we will continue that we got a little bit more to talk about on active listening. And in the month of February there's going to be a week. It's the National Court Report Association sponsors a week of talking about court reporting and um, letting the audience, the world, know about court reporting. So I will participate in that, talking about the court reporting field, different things about that. So you can look for that coming up very soon. Okay. Let me see. I want to put it's time to wrap up. Okay. It's time. So thank you for coming and participating, those of you who will. And we would like to remind you to, if this is a topic that you enjoy, I have a playlist called Beyond Words, Active Listening Skills for the Court Reporting Profession. Check out my playlist. Today's lecture is number 6 in the series. And I'm not sure how many more of these I'm going to be doing. But until I feel like I pretty much exhausted this topic, I will continue on. And once I get to the last best, uh, the last video for this, I will let everyone know we're done. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, I'm going to close out. I guess I'll show my face and stop the sharing and end it here with me looking into the camera and saying thank you very much, and to remind you to subscribe if you find that this is a topic that you enjoy learning more about, and surely become a subscriber if you want to learn more about court reporting, the court reporting profession. So I will be talking about this for quite a while, and different aspects of communication. We probably break out into talking about different relationships and communication and how we can improve relationships, even with active listening skills. Remember, wherever there is the spoken word, active listening skills need to be engaged. Okay? All right, guys. Y'all have a great evening, and I will see you in the next video.